Cancer, welcome back. Steampunk Psyche. If you're brand new here, I am JT. If you are just cross watching, hit the thumbnail. Check out the videos, okay? If you are a returning subscriber, I want to say thank you so very much, Cancer, for sticking with this community, hanging out with me, okay? We're going to do a general reading again and kind of see what's going on in February, okay? You guys, sometimes these energies, they line up and sometimes they don't, okay? It's just a general reading. I am not a sugarcoater. I'm not somebody who wants to just try to tell you a story just to get you to watch, okay? I want to stay with the integrity of the cards, okay, and what they represent. I feel like personally these cards can help us on our journey, help us on our way through life, our Fool journey. So let's get into the reading and see what your story tells, okay? Cancer, I just finished a video on my own personal awakening. I put that in the collective playlist, so if you want to go check that out, I will leave that video at the end of this video. But I kind of just touched the surface on, the spiritual awakening side, the enlightenment, or, the things that we go through, things that I went through personally. So I encourage you to check out that video. Like I said, I share some pretty personal information about myself. I'm very vulnerable at this stage. I'm willing to be vulnerable, in other words. I don't find that as a bad characteristic. I actually find that to be a pretty high feminine state of mind, okay? By sharing my information, I hope that maybe somebody else might hear it and, maybe feel the same way. If they do, there's a conversation to be had, okay? All right, Cancer, we're going to take a look at your present energy, and I'm getting shivers right now. So, and I'm not cold. It is actually kind of warm where I'm sitting. I've got the Ten of Pentacles in your present energy, okay? I'll show these up close. Ten of Pentacles in your present energy. So, we could be talking about maybe perhaps a legacy being handed down to you, security, comfort, family, organization. We're going to keep going and find out what's going on here, but we're going to start right here. I'm going to take a look now at your crossing challenge, which seems to be the Ace of Swords, okay? The Ace of Swords. Now, the Ace of Swords is a definite communication sign, air sign. We could be, talking about Libra. Could be talking about Gemini, Aquarius. I don't know, though. That's your crossing challenge. So the Ace of Swords is an idea, an emotional breakthrough, a clarity, some kind of information. We're gonna keep going and find out what all is this curtails. But hang on, and we'll talk about it. So the next card is going to be talking about your foundation, and in the foundation we have the Three of Pentacles. So we could be talking about maybe you collaborating with someone. This breakthrough idea. You may have just woke up one night and said, "Holy shit, I've got an idea." If we're talking about with your present energy being family, it could be that you're at your workplace or something. You are trying to share your ideas. Could be anything from saying let's say you work at Google, okay, and you've shared an idea with some higher ranking person, and you're trying to collaborate. This could be anywhere from being a waitress up to being a CEO of a company, and there is no, okay, I didn't say that to put anybody's workplace or level down. That's not what I mean, because there's some hard working, they serve, okay, they're servers. I don't have to say anything else. But what I am saying is that somewhere along the line, there's promotion or there's some kind of a movement forward. And I feel like there's collaboration that is in the foundation. You want to collaborate with somebody. This could be relationship wise, but we'll find out, okay? Okay, we're going to take a look at the recent past and find out what in the recent past you had a death card, okay? Some kind of moment of an ending, a brand new beginning of a ending of a cycle, beginning of another cycle. Something became known, something became balanced in your life. Whether that was a pleasant surprise or whether that was the opposite of that, I don't know. But there seems to be an ending of some kind, okay? Now, the death card in the major arcana represents this, like I said, the ending of a cycle. But if you'll notice, the bishop is staring up at the pale rider, okay? And he welcomes death, okay? And while that may not, I'm not necessarily talking about the physical death, but the physical death of, let's say, ego, physical death of lack of understanding, misunderstanding, misjudgment, those types of energies. So the death does represent that, okay? All right, now we're going to take a look at the recent past. Now, that was the recent past, wasn't it? Yeah, we're going to talk about the possibilities here. We have the Hierophant, okay? I kind of feel like there may be some kind of a bonding, a spiritual bonding. You may be doing a lot of research right now. This does represent a student. You see the two acolytes down below, the Hierophant there. The higher form of religious aspects, you could say, guru, a leader of some kind. You may be a leader. You may have been promoted into a leadership type of role where you're no longer the student, you're becoming the master. But I feel like with that Three of Pentacles, you are a collaborator, so that makes you the student always, which is a perfect position to be in because it makes you accessible. You tend to be able to, I think, work around people really well. I kind of feel like this may be work-related. Ending of one position may be the beginning of a new position. Your underlying energy, your present energy was the Ten of Pentacles. So if we're talking about the coin aspect of things, we are talking about financial means. You could be, stable or well off, or becoming stable and well off. And that doesn't necessarily have to mean like rich. I mean abundant, okay? Whatever your interpretation of abundance is, that's what that Ten of Pentacles really represents in your life, okay? All right, so this next card we're going to look at is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Near future. So we do have some kind of a celebration, a collaboration, sisterhood. The card originally talks about sisterhood, but it's a communion. It's an agreement, okay? They are all agreeing on this idea. Now, this could represent you ganging up with a bunch of your girlfriends, going out and have yourselves a little party. This is a feminine energy, okay? It doesn't have to be feminine, but this is definitely more of a passive energy. So a celebration. Now, some people like to call it third party, okay? The thing about this is you also had the Three of Pentacles, which is also collaboration. So what I feel like here is that you're definitely in the season of collaborating, of working with others. Now, if we have this if we had this situation in that recent past, I could see that may apply to a third party situation involvement. But I'm not really seeing that. I saw the collaboration, the Death card, then the Hierophant. So there was a higher learning about something. You learned something about a particular situation. Excuse me. And moving forward, there seems to be more collaboration. So I feel like I said, this is an emotional situation with the cups. So it could be an involvement. I don't want to leave anybody out. This could be talking about throuple relationship. When we have the Hierophant there, usually the Hierophant represents kind of a traditional attitude. But with the Hierophant seated right behind the Death card, it could also be non-traditional. So we could be talking about a non-traditional type relationship. It doesn't have to be, but I am not biased towards relationships. I love them all. Okay. Boy, I've got this wheezy thing going on. I know I smoked too many cigarettes, that's for sure, but this weather has really just got me up and down. I'm ready for it to, old man winter to get adjusted. Okay, so I want to know now the self. How are you showing up in this situation here? Cancer? Okay, as the Hermit. Like I said, I kind of feel like now the energy has shifted towards possibly a situation where you've really kind of had to look within. The Hermit does represent that, taking the time to really consider a particular topic or a subject or, emotional healing or something like that, right? So you may be getting really touched in the heart space about this situation. and having to pull back, kind of think about it. If this is relationship wise, like throuple relationship, you could be considering what that, what that looks like for you. If it's finances, it could be pulling back and, really aligning with the people who you trust, people who can take your idea to the next level. You know, like I said, there's a couple different energies that are at play right here. With your crossing challenge being the Ace of Swords, it's definitely communication involved. Okay, and it feels like it's a more higher level. So there's really more high at stake here with the Ace of Swords. So you're gonna have to kind of put that into place for you, what that really means. The cards aren't really gonna try to jump right out and tell me this right at the moment, but I'm gonna keep going. Okay. Okay. So what does the environment look like around Cancer? Okay. We have the Sun card. All right. So the sun does represent joy, happiness, harmony, bliss, all the things that come. I feel like if this is relationship related, this relationship, the thought of it is pleasing to you. But on the other hand, the Hermit is shining the light down onto the sun now, and that could be like making sure that you are taking the time, to look within the self, taking time to invest in your happiness, your personal happiness. You could be a very hard worker and you just haven't been taking time and you're kind of getting stressed out or something like that. Or all this collaboration. And maybe that's why you're choosing to, take a little time for yourself and you're trying to find the right people to maybe manage your positions or manage your jobs or things that you've got going on, work related. And I feel like the sun is trying to tell you that. The sun is trying to say, hey, with the Hermit focusing inward onto the Sun card, I believe that may be that type of energy, and whether that's relationship or finances, right? Okay, so the next card we're going to look at is the hopes, the fears, the wishes, and the worries. Okay. So we have the Five of Swords, all right? So the Five of Swords feels like there may be something in this that is, maybe a little bit that you're not trusting. If this is relationship wise, I could see that, you've got external forces, you got societal views on what people think about throuple relationships or what people think about relationships in general. Who gives a damn what people think, really? If you're concerned that this is going to affect your job status, if you're concerned that that maybe if you are from a highly religious background as to what this may affect or what it may do, um, that's part of the Fool journey, isn't it? Right? The decisions that you got to make. Do I choose love over people's opinions? Do I choose self love over whether or not my work status is? I think your work's going to be there no matter what you do. We always have to work at no matter what we do, whether it's play or to support ourselves. But I kind of feel like you're letting that really weigh on you. And this just kind of lean towards that. But there's a distrust in the situation, an imbalance. I hurt people when I move forward. I hurt people if I don't move forward. That's what that Five of Swords kind of represents, that energy. But I feel like your happiness, with the Hermit shining the light on the sun, I feel like that's what it's trying to tell you, is really focus on your happiness. What makes you happy? Regardless of how this situationship or whatever this is works out, um, you know, your alignment is what created your business. Your alignment is what created your promotion. Your alignment is what created all the things that you're manifesting, right? And so we know what worry does. Worry goes the opposite way, and worry brings to you more of that. And I feel like all the cards are really lined out to show you that, with Three Pentacles, with the Three of Pentacles on one side and the Three of Pentacles ending on the other side. You've got collaboration. You've got people in support. So let the other shit go. One more card. We're going to start with this outcome and direction. Okay. The outcome and the direction for Cancer. Okay. We got the Six of Pentacles, okay? The Six of Pentacles. So there is a give and take. There is a balance, okay? There's definitely a balance in whatever this is for someone. I can't quite put my finger on it. I feel like I want to clarify this. I want to clarify if this is relationship, because it's just kind of vague. It's sort of like somebody who needs confirmation, like secretively. That's why that Five of Swords came out. You know, it feels like, you know, I'm going to watch this video because that title really captured me, and but I don't want nobody to know I was watching that video. You could be a very secretive person. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is your heart wants to rejoice because you have the joy card, you know, the sun card, right? The joy card might as well be called the joy card. Your heart wants to rejoice, and the Hermit's asking you, how come you're not letting yourself rejoice? You got the Three of Pentacles that wants to collaborate. You got the Three of Cups that's also collaboration. And it's sort of like you're pushing the celebration down because of different aspects. And I feel like it's religious aspects that there may be taboo in this relationship, or there may be something about an investment situation that you're in, workspace environment that you're in that maybe seems taboo. Or it could be gossipy around the edges or seem like it is. And you may be in your head about it, really. People may not really even give a shit. And maybe more than what, you know what I'm saying? Maybe more than what your mind's making more than what it is. We had the Hermit card. That's what the Hermit's all about, is going, is this ego based or is this actual desire driven? You know, especially with the Hierophant too. The Hierophant helps to balance those out. It takes the difference between the student and the master. You become the master by, you know, using the Hermit, right? Those tools. You did have a death card in that recent past. So the ending of something, it could have been one relationship moving into this one, one investment moving into the next investment. Cancer, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I want to clarify. And I want to find out. Let's clarify this outcome and direction. We had that Six of Pentacles. So we know that there's going to be an equal balance, a give and take. You know, this giving nature, this sharing nature. Is this the outcome for Cancer? Is this the end all? What's the story here? Give us some kind of a clarification on this. Yes, the Six of Swords. Okay. Yeah, it's moving out in a way, getting emotional clarity. Okay. You know, the Six of Swords is that moving out from choppy waters into calmer waters. Okay. Not the best of the answers, but it is an emotional understanding. Remember, your crossing challenge was the Ace of Swords. So I feel like you're about to receive an emotional clarity. I feel like you're going to make a move, that you're going to move towards this. Okay. I do feel like it's slow, and rightfully so, because you had the Five of Swords. I'm just wondering if you're trusting it. But ultimately I feel like you want this. You want to do this. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to clarify one more time. I want to know, I kind of want to know what this Hierophant wants to say to you. Okay. If this is non-traditionalist relationship, if this is spiritual growth in some way, some lesson that you're need to learn about maybe letting go and enjoying love. You know, maybe you're a workaholic. Maybe I drink too much. I don't drink too much. Personally, I don't drink. I'm not judging anybody if they do drink. I just can't drink. But maybe you work a lot, okay? And you're invested in your work. And this is asking you to slow down and find love now, or enjoy love, or enjoy this relationship, enjoy this sharing what you started with others. Okay. So let's clarify that for you, Cancer. What kind of advice do you have for Cancer? Okay. You can see this, so in case something wants to pop out of there. What do you have for Cancer? What do they need to know, universe? How about a romance? Knight of Wands. So you definitely have this Knight of Wands energy coming, okay? Okay. I do feel like I said, this feels like a fiery romance. It feels like a relationship you really want. The Knight of Wands is that, it's either or, a masculine or a feminine kind of an energy, but it's passion and fire and romance. And but I feel like, again, I'm trying to reiterate this. I feel like there's this energy that goes, the faster it comes into you, the more you kind of pull back. So it's a push-pull retreat sort of scenario, and you're really questioning it. I would just take your time. I would not. I would, keep your boundaries. The Wands does represent boundaries. But the Knight comes in very quickly, and sometimes he's not the best at taking his time. So there may be a little bit of a, and what I'm getting at is there may be a little bit of a, the idea that's so romantic. So you got to kind of pull back and get out of your head. So I kind of understand what that's like. But I do feel like with the Sun card, it's really asking you to find joy. Let that be your guide. And that may be very scary for you. I feel like maybe you are one of those that is so reserved that having a good time, you almost feel guilty. Right? Okay. Cancer, I love you. I hope this was just confirmation. If it was, give it a thumbs up, would you? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Listen, I'll leave that other video at the end of this one. Check it out about the spiritual awakening. Perhaps maybe you line up with some of that information, okay? Anyway, Cancer, I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope to see you on the next recording, okay? All right. Bye-bye.